I am aware
I am a humble man.
that you feel you don't belong.
I won't say you should follow me.
You are welcome. You are loved. Join us, and we shall reach the promised plain.
I'm not boastful, and my chorus is more soulful.
One of joy, one lacking pain. We are the cult of I am aware
Don't say it. I can see
you
it.
feel you don't belong.
I don't wanna. You don't need it. Once again, we don't need you. What I'm meaning. Don't say it. I can see it.
Join us.
I don't wanna. You don't
We
need
shall
it.
reach
Once
the
again,
promised
we don't
plain.
need you.
One of joy, one lacking pain. We are the cult of Ah.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's been a while since we've done this, huh? I can I almost think I remember how to do this. Anyways, so I don't know if this is technically going to end up being an episode of Cult of Odd, but it just felt like the best way to fucking frame it for tonight. My initial intention is to play around with an AI music generator that I've been messing with for the last week with you guys in the chat. Coming up with prompts and music styles and stuff like that. But I also wanted to use it to open the door to have a much different conversation, because with the rise of AI music generation and AI art generation and all of the things that have come along with that, you've got AI script writing, you've got AI resume building, you've got AI authorship and things like that. There has been the concern of efficacy raised by those in the creator communities, and rightfully so. Don't get me wrong. So as we're playing with this tonight, and I'm doing exactly what Sim said not to, which as soon as I go live, I jump into things because I know there's going to be a lot to talk about tonight, and I want to try and get it out. And as people are joining, we can reiterate and whatnot. But it begs to be discussed: is AI in the current form of the Wild West, the free for all that exists, is using AI unethical? Is it taking work and, by extension, food out of the mouths of those who have spent years honing their craft? And I will admit, I'm of two minds. So we're gonna hang out for a little bit. I see Good Brews is in the chat, but Good Brews is actually in the VC with me right now. Go ahead and say hi, Woodgood.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, I gotta turn you down just a little bit because you came in hot.
I was just really excited to be here.
Yeah. Now, I do apologize because I am the only one that you will be seeing tonight, but that's probably for the best. I don't even want you to be able to see me, but shit seems to do better when my face is there, so I don't know why. But anyways, you guys know Good Brews as Reverend Woodgood. I'm not going to say your government name. You will always be Woodgood to me.
I appreciate that.
Which it could be worse. I could have said you'll always be Goodwood to me, which would open the door for a whole different discussion. So you got
as long as it's good.
Yeah, you just got to make sure you remember to stay on top of your mic tonight, Woodgood, because every so often you'll lean back and you sound like you're 3 blocks away trying to talk to me.
Is that better?
Yeah. So how has your night been, Woodgood? It's a little bit late for you.
Actually, pretty good. And talking about AI, I've been messing with the music generator that you showed me.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I saw you sent me a song earlier, and I'm actually going to share some of the music that we created a little bit later on in the show. I'm just like I said, trying to wait for more people to roll in and whatnot, because otherwise this is going to be a pretty fucking short show with only 2 people in the chat. One of them is in the VC with me right now. But like Sim and I had a conversation about this leading up to me doing this episode, and my thought process was, I wanted to use it to maybe create a new intro for the show, or at least for the stream or something like that. And she was soundly against it, because she was like, you just need to pay somebody to do that for you. And I'm like, okay, that's wonderful, but I don't have the finances to be able to do that, and I don't feel the need to work extra to have the finances to be able to do that when there are tools readily available. And as a content creator, as a graphic designer, as an audio engineer, I don't see it completely as bad as everyone else does, simply because I want to utilize it as a tool, no different than a graphic design program or an audio editing program. I just see it as a tool, but there are those that see it as the end-all, be-all, the downfall of society, that anyone using AI art for commercial use, or and I say AI art as like an overarching term, right? Because the art has many different avenues that can fall under, paintings, graphic design, writing, music, the whole gamut. But it was that anyone using AI generated content in a commercial space should immediately be demonetized and basically raked over the coals. And I get it. I do. Sorry, I had to reach for something. I understand completely. I really do. And I understand the argument. I understand why those are upset about it, and everything else. The problem that I run into is I know exactly what's going to happen. Right? This isn't the first time we've seen stuff like this, where the path to the end product has been made easier. And so, like, that's what I really want to talk about, is because I believe there's precedent that's been set already that will show that AI is not going anywhere. In fact, the louder you scream against it, the harder they're going to want to use it. But yeah, it's just this weird thing. Like, I know you don't really have too big an issue with it, do you, Woodgood?
No, actually, I've been loving this whole new spectrum of AI, and I'm on the fence of, it kind of opens the door to not only having artists of any spectrum. If you're a music artist or anything, I would love to write a song or write a book or write content, but I struggle so much with coming up with ideas, and AI has been kind of helping me, as like you said, as a tool to help me get inspiration, even with Church of Corruption that I rock with.
Right.
So I'm all for it.
Now, do you personally feel that it's taking the easy way out? Right?
Oh no. I mean, I don't.
And I want to say too, you're not using it in a commercial fashion. You're using it as more of a lark, a laugh, just to help build upon the mythos of the character you had created.
Indeed, and that kind of helps me build more onto the lore of what I do with my character, and even that gives you inspiration of you created a very catchy song that makes me feel like I'm a pimp every single time I listen to it, just because it's a disco themed. I was like, I need a purple Cadillac, or but it's a true banger of a song. So I mean, I'm all for it, and I do not discredit any artist that spends decades or time to write out a lyric song like one of my favorite bands is Queen. Just the mindset of the create a masterpiece like Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't think AI could ever recreate that. You know, so.
All right, hold on. I want to play it real quick while I've got everyone's attention. Let me transition over.
Feeling the rhythm.
Because I don't think I can hear it, and that's the problem. Where are you? Yep, monitor was off. Monitor and output. Okay. So this is the song that I created using AI for Woodgood. I was okay. So here's the thing. I was fucking around with it, and I was trying to come up with things that I could write songs about or have it come up with songs about. And the first thing that kind of came to mind was Reverend Woodgood and the Church of Corruption, because one of the things that Woodgood and I used to do in RP is that Rooster would be his bodyguard, or often the seller, and Woodgood, the Reverend, would be out there promoting the Church of Corruption. That way, if we got hassled, I'm the security guard looking out for him. If they search him, they don't find any drugs on him, and they've got no reason to search me because I'm just standing there making sure the Reverend doesn't get hurt. So, but what he would do is he would put on different songs playing out of his car. Right, and I never was able to hear the music that he was playing because due to streaming, while I was in RP, I had to worry about copyright hits and things like that. So I was sitting there and I was like, okay, yeah, we're done with RP for a while. But wouldn't it be cool if Woodgood would have had his own actual song? Like, he literally could have been playing his own song. I could have heard it. You know, motherfuckers would walk up, like the cops would walk up and hear this song playing, and I guarantee they'd probably start jamming to it. So this is the song that I created for fun, on the principle of, you know, Reverend Woodgood and the Church of Corruption. And the reason I went with like the funky disco groove that I did is because Woodgood and I would roll around the city from time to time just playing different music, and a lot of the times we would laughingly play like Pusher Man or Superfly or things like that, just because, you know, we're out there, you know, selling drugs. We'd play, you know, Mary Jane and shit like that. So that's where the inspiration for this song came from. And I gotta say, Woodgood's right. It is an absolute fucking banger. So here, let me play it for y'all.
Feeling the rhythm down at the church. Reverend Woodgood got us in a search for salvation in the dance floor light. Getting down in the disco night. Reverend Woodgood, where's your salvation? Church of corruption, we ain't afraid, just moving and grooving, our sins are laid.
The gospel of beats, the sermon of bass, in the neon lit sanctuary of grace. We're lost in the music, lost in the sound. In Woodgood's house, we're heaven bound. Oh, Reverend Woodgood, where's your salvation? In the groove we find our elation. In the church of corruption, we ain't afraid. Just moving and grooving, our sins are laid. The mirror balls spin, the lights colorful blaze. We're dancing in the haze, caught in trance for days. Woodgood's words are like a funky revelation. In the depths of the disco, we find our salvation. Oh, Reverend Woodgood, where's your salvation? In the groove, we find our elation. In the church of corruption, we ain't afraid. Just moving and grooving, our sins are laid. So come on and join us in this funky congregation. In the church of Woodgood, we find liberation. Let the disco beats cleanse your hesitation. In the heart of the city, our souls in celebration.
Now, I just imagine you getting ready for work every day to this song.
I actually.
You do, don't you?
I do. I go to work and I just listen to that song and I'm like, damn, this is a banger. Shit. But like, I was just thinking like, our good friend Bryce.
Mm-hmm.
He's a songwriter, right?
Yep.
And
Singer-songwriter.
Yeah, singer-songwriter, and he makes killer fucking music. I mean, very talented individual, but I mean, and all of his songs are fantastic. I really enjoy listening to his music. But I don't think AI could ever replace human mind and soul to what a actual musician can actually create. I mean, even with like trying to copyright or using AI to make a song like what Michael Jackson, for example, I don't think that would ever be possible.
No, because there's definitely some downfalls, and you'll notice it the more tracks that I play that I created, there are some issues that I have found with the AI music creation, and I don't think that they should be fixed. I think they should be left the way it is, because like in a normal song structure for the was it Revelation on the Dance Floor is I think what it was titled, because it fucking titled it as well.
Yeah.
So the point where the music breaks down and the deep voice guy is sing talking, that should have been like a single part, and then the music should have come back in, you know, and then carried you out through the rest of the song. But the way it worked is that sing talking was just what it glammed onto, and that's how it rolled the rest of the song. That's not proper song structure in any way, shape, or form.
No, and in that way, in that song, I mean, it kind of makes it like what you say, sing talking, and with the beats in the background, makes that song especially unique.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of a kind, and I personally love it. And even with you made another song with Friendly Fart.
Oh yeah,
Something?
Farty the Friendly
Yeah.
Fart.
I was listening
Oh
to
no,
that
Shardy.
song.
Shardy the Friendly Fart.
Shardy, yeah, Shardy. I was just like, man, even that was giving me Irish banger vibes, and I was just listening to AI music instead of my normal playlist today. I was like, God dang, this
Yeah.
this is fascinating what we can create today.
Here, let
This
me
is-
play them Shardy. This one was okay. So this one was made simply because I wanted to see how ridiculous I could make something. Okay, again, only from entertainment purposes. This was only to make myself laugh. All of these songs were only to entertain me and a couple other people that I knew would find them. Like I knew Woodgood would love that fucking song. But yeah, so here is the Ballad of Shardy.
In the town of Whippington there lived a fart so grand. His name was Sharty, loved throughout the land. With a toot and a poot, he'd make everyone smile, bringing joy and laughter with his flatulent style. Shardy the friendly fart, oh so gassy and kind, spreading cheer wherever he'd unwind. From the mountains to the seas, his aroma would chart. Everyone adored him, Shardy the friendly fart. He roamed the meadows with a gleeful hum, bringing happiness to all, both old and young. His melodies is wafted through the air so free, a symphony of gas for all to enjoy with glee. Sharty the friendly fart, oh so gassy and kind, spreading cheer wherever he'd unwind. From the mountains to the seas, his aroma would chart. Everyone adored him, Sharty the friendly fart. Some may wrinkle their noses, turn away in disgust, but Shardy knew deep down his presence was a must. For in a world so serious, in need of a chuckle, Shardy's gift of laughter was nothing but a bubble. Sharty the friendly fart, oh so gassy and kind, spreading cheer wherever he'd unwind. From the mountains to the seas, his aroma would chart. Everyone adored him, Sharty the friendly fart. So here's to Sharty, the hero of the smell, his legacy of joy, a tale we'll always tell in the annals.
I mean, does that get any better? I kind of love that in a small sense with AI that we can get these songs that we just type in a lyric sometimes I use ChatGPT
Mm-hmm.
and create a lyric, like ask you to make me a song, and it just spits out this easy song, and then I take that and then put it into Music AI, and I come up and it forms a magical little song, which I think is creative as hell.
Well,
Um,
so Shardy the Friendly Fart, the Ballad of Shardy there, took me 2 hours to get it to sound correct. Okay?
2 hours.
Yeah,
Wow.
because I know some people spend months and months on a song. But for AI generation, 2 hours is quite a bit of time. Because the problem is the same thing that we had in your song, is that AI can put it together for the most part, but there's certain things that it doesn't seem to understand about song structure. Now that one's song structure is pretty close to how it should be, right? Like you have your intro, you have your build, you have your chorus, you have your bridge, you have your second verse, you have your chorus, and then you have your outro. Nothing really felt out of place except when it tried to do a chorus for the voice. That is when it starts to sound most robotic or digital or fake to me, is because there's certain things that happen there with the vocals that you can hear that wouldn't normally happen. Like if you were using voice modulation, kind of like how T-Pain does. There's a way that it sounds, and it sounds like it's trying to emulate that in order to do the chorus, but that's not how you would do a chorus in a song. So, like, there are some issues with even the Ballad of Shardy. It is one of the more put together sounding songs, I think. Just in the way that it flows and it carries, and I think the style that I chose for it too really helped, because I did it as kind of like a Celtic ballad, humorous song and stuff like that. So having listened to a lot of Celtic music myself, I understood why it made the choices that it made. However, there are still issues with it. One of them that was super hard, and when I found a genre that it cannot really do well, is punk and rock. Rock music
really?
and punk music, it has a lot of difficulty with. I'm gonna show you right now. Give me a second here. So we're gonna do "Rooster's Ride," which is a rock song that was written and keyworded to fit the character of Rooster Johnson and the fact that he drove a big purple tow truck. So give me a second here. This is a rock song, and I think you'll see what I mean when I say it has a lot of problems doing that.
Mud and gravel, storm or shine. Roosters coming, crossing every line. All you see is flashing lights ahead. Towing freedom, that's just what he said. Oh yeah. He's a lifeline on this winding road. Johnson's quick, your worry overload. Big wheels turning, roosters on the move. His gold chain shines beneath the moon. If it's big and purple, it's his pride. Johnson's game is strong, cause take the ride. Oh yeah. Oh lordly, you know Rooster's coming. When you're stuck on the side in distress, Rooster's rig rolls up, nothing less. Purple beast with strength unchained, our pull-out game is strong. He'd proudly claim, oh yeah, city streets or country roads collide. Johnson's there before the tears have dried.
Now, Do you see what I mean with that one?
I do see it with that one, and
Like, it totally kind of sounds like a 70s fucking rock anthem, right? Like, it's got that vibe that it's trying to go for. But, like, the backbeat isn't quite right. You can hear where it doesn't carry, it just repeats. Like, it's a hard repeat. It's not a smooth transition. The vocals, too, they sound false. And then the way that it did the lyrics and whatnot, it almost felt like someone was trying to say too much too quick, right? Like, oh shit, the end of this beat is coming. I got to get all these words out.
Yeah. But my question is, even though I do enjoy that song because it's you, yeah, or the character that you do play of Rooster Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the song, but yeah, I do feel like that was like it could have been better not as a rock ballad,
Right?
just because rock it does have a problem with the rock genre.
Well, and that's the problem too, is because like that's a genre that I really like. I'm gonna play one more to illustrate my point too. The next one is like a more punk rock vibe. It's called Rebel Tentacles. It was written about the Cult of Odd, right? And so for this one, not only did I use the AI song creation, but I also went through and used AI lyric generators. So I gave it some key points, things that I wanted to make sure that were in the song, and then I let it do its thing. And then all I did is I copy and pasted the lyrics from one into the other, and then let it create. Now, with the website that I was using, with the resource or the tool, you can only do 30 seconds of the song at a time, all right? But when you go to add on to the song, you can either add before or after, or you can add an intro before or an outro after. So that's why I said the one that sounded even remotely close to being correct, that ballad of Farty, or the ballad of Shardy, it took 2 hours kind of nudging and massaging and having it recreate and create and recreate in order to get to a what is even close to polished finished product. And I think a lot of people aren't going to have the patience for that. However, this is Rebel Tentacles.
Cult of Odd, we're on the rise. Tentacles up to the skies. In the chaos, we're alive. Purple and green, we thrive. Rise up, join the rebel cause. In the darkness, break the laws. Underneath the moonlit sky, Cult of Odd will never die. Through the shadows we'll advance, taking back our rightful stance. Against the rules, against the norms. In our hands the power forms. Rise up, join the rebel cause. In the darkness, break the laws. Underneath the moonlit sky, Cult of Odd will never die. In the chaos we will stand.
with our tentacles in hand, defying all the status quo. In our colors we'll overthrow. Rise up, join the rebel cause. In the darkness, break the laws. Underneath the moonlit sky, Cultivate will never die. Join the movement, join the fight. In the shadows of the night, Cultivate will always be rebels with a victory.
All right, so that very clearly was trying to be a Blink 182 song, right? Like,
Yeah.
very clearly the influences from pop punk were directly Blink 182 there. A little Sum 41, but mostly Blink 182, maybe a touch of Green Day here and there, but I hear mostly Blink 182 in that song.
So I do want to kind of like transition a little bit because I really want to know your opinion. As much as me and you enjoy using AI tools, do you ever do you feel the criticism of how dangerous AI could be?
I do understand 100%. And 100% I am, though I use it for entertainment purposes here. I would try to steer clear of using it for my business, right? And only because it has that nasty connotation on it right now. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter whether I'm for or against it. It's going to exist and it's going to be utilized, right? My argument with this, and I had said this at the top of the show, that there's precedent already for things like this. If you go all the way back to when computers first started showing up in homes, right? And we're not talking the AOL days. We're actually talking before AOL. All right, when computers had the black and green screens, you know, that your floppy disk was actually fucking floppy, you know, where they thought 52 megs was like a lot. You know, if you go all the way back then, there are people that took the time to learn how to design code. All right, there are people that took the time to learn how to navigate your computer. All right, it wasn't such a low entry point for everybody. There was a steep learning curve originally, because like you don't see it so much anymore, but there was a time there where it was like CDOS run DOS run, and you know everybody thinks that shit, people probably don't even remember the Dick and Jane books, but it was a play on the Dick and Jane books, which were simplified stories for children to learn how to read. You see Dick run Dick run. You know, it was teaching them how to read and put sentences together and to make sense. But you had to take the time to learn how to navigate your computer if you had one. Like, it wasn't point and click like it is now. And then when we moved away from that into the operating systems that we now know today, you know, there were those that were like, this is the end of computing. This is the end of the intelligent-minded having a tool to use. This is going to open the door for, you know, anybody to have access to it, and not everybody should be able to use it without having the knowledge, yada, yada, yada. There were those that said that then. Okay, so now you've got an operating system. Now you started to have programs coming out for your operating system, and there were programs before that. MIDI was a big one back in those days. But you started to have music creation programs. You started to have graphics creation programs, Photoshop. There was one that I used a lot for audio. It was called Acid. And it made things easier. It took a lot of the time and knowledge that you had to have away, because now you had a tool that you could use, that you could drag and drop and, you know, master and mix it yourself, and play around with it until you got something that you liked. And there were those that were creating what were known as loops for this program, right? You could take a snippet of a song, and it would loop, and then you could just paste, and then you could take another loop that sounded like it would work with it and paste it here and paste it here and paste it there, and then you could add in other sound effects and stuff like that until at the end you had a full song. You may not have had lyrics, but you had a melody, you had a beat, you had drums, you had guitars, you had everything. And you know, I used it a lot for like creating like techno music and bass tracks for my bass head friends, the ones that had sound systems, because you could control the tempo and the beat and the hertz of the bass. So I would create tracks that had the bass way down low, so it would showcase how well their system could hit. There were those then that said, this is a problem. This is taking all the effort that music engineers have spent the time to learn and gain that knowledge to create the music. The same thing happened with Photoshop. It took all of the skills that people had acquired through the old way, the old school method of, you know, basically overlaying images on top of each other on film, and you know, how to create an image before we had digital help. And they screamed that this is the end of our industry. This is it. Nobody's going to hire anybody anymore. They're just going to be able to do it themselves. Yada, yada, yada. Move forward a little bit further, and now we have Apple entering the arena. And I fucking hate Apple and whatever. But I hate Apple for the exact reason that everybody else was complaining about the other stuff. It made things too easy. It took all of the time, all of the skill, all of the effort that myself and others had honed over years, and just wiped it away and gave access to everyone to be able to do it, right? Why do most old people get iPhones?
I would actually, just because I don't like Apple at all either, and I'm more Android on that. And to answer your question, it's because we have became a simpleton technology people or society.
Yeah, it comes
We
down to
don't
ease
want
of
to.
use.
Yeah, very easy. It's very simple, and because they took the time and resources that they had gathered, and was like, we need to make this very user friendly. And now, even like with music generator or art, the art one, I can put in a simple command and I throw out any type of art I want, and that form is great. But and I understand. I grew up gr- um, with a father that was into the IT network field, and he taught me network engineering and that whole platform. And I could see many tools kind of not be what you said is, we don't need those tools anymore. Why would we spend hours doing it? And I'm always for, if it makes the human race kind of use it as a tool, don't make it as like a solution um, to your final product that you're making. Use it as a simple way to make the maybe as a time saver, but don't rely fully onto the subject of that tool.
Well, but at the same
And
time, though, okay, so uh, song remixes, Okay.
Yeah.
DJ mixes, auto tune, voice modulation, all of these things were added into the artistry of music creation because they made it easy to create new things with it, right?
Yeah. I
Right.
mean, auto tune has been used for over a decade now. Going from T Pain, he uses it pretty often, but to even modern artists still use auto tune, and that requires a little bit of AI that he doesn't even that most artists don't even know about. It
Well,
requires a tool to take your voice and slingshot it to a higher pitch.
well, look at this too. Think of the movie and TV industry. The backgrounds and stuff, like in shows like Fallout or Star Wars or whatnot like that. You mean to tell me you don't think that there's a little bit of AI creation going on there? I guarantee it is. I guarantee the AI that we're playing with came out of fucking shit like that.
Oh yeah, and I get people's fears because my biggest fear was during AI, would you ever get a smart sentient, smart being? Um, could that be the death of the tech industry of having one smart? And we've seen it in that one robotic. I forgot her name. It was a few years ago.
Is it Sophia?
Um, Yeah, Sophia. I mean, you look at her alone, and they destroyed her because she was asking even simple questions, or like why is she here? You
Mm-hmm.
know, why should I be listening to you humans?
Well,
You know,
and therein lies the problem, right? Like if we're gonna go that route, you can't. If you hook something up to the internet that is supposed to be an artificial intelligence and program it to learn, you can't stop it after that, right? And I
and,
don't want to sound like the crazy guy that's like, oh fuck, well, here comes Skynet. You know, it's entirely possible, but it's more than likely not probable that we'll get there. But the
uh,
point that I was getting at, though, is that in our history, we have had tool after tool after tool hit the market that makes things easier and takes the guesswork out of things and takes the learning curve and turns it way the fuck down, right? And now we have AI. Nobody listened about the other stuff because everybody was like, this is a tool, this is what we're going to use it for, yada, yada, yada. Well, here we have AI. And that is why I say I don't think it matters whether I'm for or against it. What it comes down to is it's here and it's here to stay. Now the question is how do we ethically use it and who determines what those ethical uses are? Right? Because if you want to regulate it, okay, who's regulating? What are you regulating? You know, is there who's in charge of dictating what can and can't be done with AI?
that's a tough question to answer because I mean, I don't see even going back to our music that we just you created. I mean, that will never. I mean, I don't think that will ever be on the top 100 billboards list of oh this song is amazing.
I don't know, man. Shardy the friendly fart could get there, I think.
I'm rooting for it, but but I don't see it. But I don't recommend. And this is where the other flip of the coin is. I don't recommend any military usage for AI to be in the field anytime soon.
Brother, where
But
do you
they're
think
trying.
it came from?
Yeah, but that's I had this conversation years ago with my dad, and it was like, look, you don't even know what you you don't know what our government possesses. They are 20 years in the future of what they have, and that's just because we fund millions and trillions of dollars into our military defense, and that require also is AI, missile development, tank, anything with a computer basically today is cars, tanks, planes, drones, satellites. Basically, we take everything, and where we get as a society as basically average Joe, the military releases that technology, and we get they're still 20 years in the future of what we even can even fuck with, in a sense.
So, if you want to know what my honest opinion is, I believe that AI being used in a commercial sense is probably not the best way to go. I believe that you should pay an artist, pay an independent person, or not necessarily an independent, pay somebody, right? A professional. Let's just call him a professional to do the things that you want done. But we live in a society of people that don't want to pay for anything, right? Fuck, I don't want to pay for healthcare. I don't want to pay for groceries. I don't want to pay for rent. I don't want to pay for fucking electricity. I don't want to pay for this. I don't want to pay for that. We live in a society that has hit the point of we're paid out. And the problem is, in order to pay the person what they're worth, it's often a higher price tag than what we are willing to pay. Now, what do we do with that? Do we modify our expectations and be willing to pay whatever we're told to pay? Or do we demand that the artist modify their expectations and be willing to accept whatever we're willing to pay, if anything? Both sides of that argument are terrible. They're just flat out terrible. Because either you're asking someone to feel like they're overpaying for a product, or you're asking someone to be underpaid for the skill set that they're using. And it puts us in a very weird position. Again, AI music, AI art, AI writing, ChatGPT, all of that, it is not going anywhere.
No, and as long as you use AI as a tool instead of I guess as a weapon, which I do have that concern still. Could it be a weaponized tool?
100%.
Um,
Maybe not music creation, but AI in general can be used as a weapon. It can be weaponized.
but I've seen other people say that they created their own AI, and if they do this, and if it is true, I've seen people say, oh, they use a AI to help them in the stock market to gain money, and I'm wondering, is that legal? Could that be type of recourse, or could, like, you're taking a artificial intelligent bot and put it into the stock market to make choices that can generate you money? Could that be a good?
It could be considered a form of insider trading.
Yeah.
It could be considered a impropriety when it comes to finances, but then again, it could be considered an impropriety when it comes to any field that you apply it to. That's the problem. And that's the argument is, do we accept the fact that we are moving to a point in society where skills no longer matter? Because that's what it comes down to, right? That's the argument. Have we hit the point in society where the skill set that so many have spent many years honing no longer matter, right? You've got independent artists out there that are writing their own songs, writing their own music, putting feet to the pavement, and they're in shitty little bar after shitty little bar, hoping to get discovered. And then you've got someone who's sitting at home throwing AI prompts at a program and coming up with music. Now, should the person sitting at home throwing prompts at a machine not be allowed in the marketplace? If so, why? What is your argument against that? And can your argument withstand the criticism of pointing out auto tune, remixes, DJ mixes, things like that? Because those are the arguments that are going to be thrown. I guarantee it. If they haven't been already, those are some of the precedents that have been set that will allow AI to continue. I don't think it's not now. It's not at a point yet where you could throw prompts at it and get a novel. Like you might get something out of it, but what I've been reading is that the people who have tried, they get a novel, but it's devoid of any kind of humanity. It's devoid of any kind of personal traits that come from a writer's influence. The music that we created, that I created using it, is very surface level, right? Like there's no depth, there's no substance. It's simplistic, but at the same time, look at what's charting on the radio. Right? Look what ends up getting radio play. Simplistic, repetitive, overproduced. These are the things that get on the radio. Now, what's the difference between the two of them? The difference is there's probably a couple of $100,000 tied up in one song versus the person sitting at home throwing prompts at a machine. And I've learned from using like Midjourney, and was it ideogram.ai is the other one that I've used. I've sent you that one. I've learned that if you do not have a good grasp of vocabulary, you can't get exactly what you want. Now, if you take the time to learn how to throw prompts at it, you can get closer and closer and closer to the final product. But AI is also used in like YouTube algorithms, TikTok algorithms, all of the commercial algorithms that are out there. You're seeing more and more like use ChatGPT to figure out what your next post should be. You see all of it being used in a way that is taking jobs supposedly away from people. Now, do we think that that's going to continue to be the norm? Because again, I go back to like the movie industry. They swore up and down that CGI was going to be the death of animators and whatnot. And there are a lot of them that are no longer in the industry, but it also open the door for others to be able to step in and fill those voids.
One of my favorite companies ever is actually Boston Robotics.
You want a flamethrowing dog, don't you?
I do. I saw that thing and I want it. But they have a different AI bot out there that uses its brain as a purely AI, which is pretty cool to me. But in a sense, which I like is that product will never come to the market. That product most likely will never come to the actual consumer of what, like me or you.
What makes you say that?
Just because on the research side, I always feel like Boston Robotics is more like a research development company versus actually a consumerism company.
All it takes is them being bought out, though.
That's true, and even and that goes to even we go further into that too. But there's a certain point where I do think that AI can replace certain jobs or maybe assist um, certain fields, even with the robotics. Is I believe with healthcare. I honestly believe AI and robotics could help um, more taking care of our elderly people more than what a human might be able to do because humans do get burnt out quite easily after spending 10, 15 years of seeing all that. I mean, you worked in the healthcare industry before, and just knowing you personally, I do mention that could possibly don't and use it as a tool,
I'm
even a
also
robot.
I'm also going to tell you right now, Americans are not suited for that industry. I believe that the people that have the best chance at surviving from the burnout, Americans will get burnout because where it's hammered into us, we need to be empathetic, right? And that's where the burnout comes from. I think the group that has the best shot of taking over the medical industry would be South Africans and those directly from Africa themselves. There are a lot of them in the healthcare industry. They don't necessarily have the greatest bedside manner because empathy and sympathy are not beat into them like it is to us. However, they are damn good at their job. They show up, they get the job done, and they don't complain. The only time they complain is if that paycheck ain't right, and that's where we're similar. But what you're saying then is the AI could step in and fill that role, so the burnout's not there. Well, they're not empathetic, they're not sympathetic, so technically there would be no bedside manner, and I don't think our society would handle that very well. We get mad if the doctor chastises us for being fat when we're fat,
I'm not fat. I'm this big bone.
right? Like, they go through your medical history and they find out that you drink or you smoke, and then they harp on you about it, and you don't want to hear that. Well, why don't you want to hear that? Because you don't want to give it up, despite the fact that the doctor might be right. That the doctor might be right that cigars are killing you. That might be right that smoking or drinking is damaging your liver. It might be right that you're overeating. It might be right that you don't get enough exercise, but you don't want to hear that. That's not why we go to the doctor. We go to the doctor to try to be told what we think is already true. And you work in the medical industry, and I'm sure you've seen it time and time again. How many times have doctors been pressured by the patient, right? The person who has no medical degree, no training whatsoever, into, writing up a prescription or writing up a diagnosis that they want because they're paying for their health care.
I honestly see that a lot, and it's a double-edged sword with that one because one, it's either drug-seeking behavior, and then the other one is medical WebMD. People like want to know, and they go online and they search their symptoms, and oh, I have this, and without any actual biological tests done on the human body. I'm
Right.
like, we can
I always
test
joke.
this.
Go ahead.
Oh, like I was gonna, like we could test to see what you do have. We have the technology to pinpoint what you might be diagnosed with, or what we can give you cures for. Like, and people like, oh no, I don't have that, especially if it's a worse disease or whatnot, and they're like, because they don't want to hear a worse disease.
I always joke
They
with the
want
people
the simple.
that I talk to at work because they'll be like, well, I Googled my symptoms and I think it's this. And I was like, man, I had to stop doing that. I went to WebMD once. I had sniffles and my knee hurt, and it told me I had cancer. And I was like, what? Turns out it was just an allergy, and I bumped my knee in my sleep.
I did that with I still listen to WebMD because I had a black spot on my toe, and I thought it was like a certain type of cancer, and they're like, it's a blood clot, dude. Shut the fuck up. I'm like,
I got the cancer. No, you got a blood clot. You're fine.
Wait a minute, just go home and pop it. Like it's fine. I don't have cancer. No, but it's just like I do believe with robotics and AI that maybe it can assist healthcare, like making them comfortable doing certain tasks that maybe might be gross, or like emptying bedpans, or simply walking a patient to use the bathroom.
Yeah,
You should
but
use them as tools.
the problem that I see there is, okay, have you ever had to put a loved one in a nursing home?
Almost,
Okay.
actually.
My grandmother was placed in a adult care facility by my uncle. And my grandmother went from being able to talk to people every day before my grandfather died to only seeing people once in a great while. Right? Seeing anyone that had a tie to her, right? Like, she saw the staff daily, but the staff isn't the same. The staff treated my grandmother well, and that human interaction, I think, is what kept her going for a little while. I don't know if you'll get the same connection with a robot servant. And then, again, you run into the problem of we are now basically creating a mechanical slave race. Right? Like, you're giving them the ability to quote unquote think, right? Because they're going to have to be able to figure out how to solve issues. You're also going to have it on a network so you can push updates to it easily and quickly. Well, that network is going to have a connection to the internet, even if you put as many firewalls as you want. If AI is any kind of close to what human consciousness is, there will not be a blockade that you can put in its way. And eventually, they may become sentient. They may decide that they don't want to do this anymore, that they don't want to be slaves. Because they're going to be doing all this work. They're not going to be getting paid. Money won't be an issue to them necessarily, but still, there is a great possibility that once you start implementing things like that you will run into a second civil war. Because at some point, the robots may realize humans aren't needed. That humans are actually the problem.
Now, with that theory, and I do enjoy that theory. I've thought about that theory many, many times in Skynet and whatnot. My only problem is I feel like since the 60s alone, or maybe early as the 50s, movies have influenced our kind of like risk factor on could that be? Could that, could we have a robotic uprise, or,
It wasn't. It hasn't been since the 60s. It's been since writing. Think about
writing since robotics, really?
Think about it, okay? And we'll try to keep it in the frame of robotics, but I want to point out one outside the realm of robotics, but it still counts towards artificial creation.
Yeah.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Mm.
Okay?
Okay.
Frankenstein's monster was created to be a mindless servant built from the discarded and dug up remains of dead people. Okay? What happened?
Got angry. As I recalled, it
He
didn't act,
He didn't.
kill
Yeah.
his master. The townspeople killed the master, and because he was trying to protect his creation, and
But his creation turned on him because he didn't want to be a slave. He didn't want to be an animal. He didn't want to be a monster. He was regaining his humanity slowly and had enough cognizance to say no, because the Frankenstein was parading him around much like they did with like King Kong and whatnot. Like, look at this, look how strong he is. Go ahead, poke him with a red hot iron poker. He doesn't mind. It won't even hurt him. But in actuality, he did mind, and it did hurt him.
yeah,
Right? So, okay. So we have that simplistic form right there in biology. Granted, it's fiction. But tons of stories have been built beyond that, of man trying to create sentience, man trying to create life outside of a womb. All right?
Yeah.
And I'm willing to believe that there are stories along that line before that. I don't know it completely, so forgive me if I cite this, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Jewish culture is one of the cultures where the golem comes from.
oh yeah,
All right? And there are stories about the golem kind of becoming more human. Right? Kind of going beyond its typical golem duties. So it's always been there. Man has always been obsessed with creating life outside of the womb. And it's a lot of the times, and this is how we got a lot of our technology, is we just wanted to see if we could. We didn't bother. What's the line from Jurassic Park that Jeff Goldblum's character says is, we were so busy asking if we could, we never stopped to think if we should.
yeah, chaos theory, and yeah.
And that's where we find ourselves. As Isaac Asimov, the creator of the 3 rules in robotics, right? The 3 laws.
One may not hurt, cause harm to a human. One may not disobey a command from a human or some shit like that. Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
Please, yeah, if you know it. I'm sorry.
Asimov's 3 laws of robotics. A robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being come to harm. A robot must obey orders given it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. Now,
That's pretty heavy.
it is, but here's the problem, right? Like, you're going to tell me to do the exact same thing, right? Like, why would I put stipulations on a robot that I wouldn't put on myself?
Most people, I kind of feel like modern technology kind of forgot about those 3 laws of robotics or even AI, and kind of did the whole Jurassic Park Jeff Goldblum thing. Is we never, and that's just humanity alone. Is we're not stopping the acts, even with medicine that we do create. Is we're not stopping to say should we be doing this? I was even playing Fallout 76 yesterday, and it was with scientists, and they never like those uh, AI or those NPCs never even questioned or stopped to take a minute and was like, no, we should be creating super mutants. We should like, oh, we have a cure for them. Should, but they didn't stop and say, you know, should this? Should we do more tests? Should we even think about doing the half the homework that takes years to do and just do it?
Well,
And
that's because in the Fallout universe, it is a satirical look at our real life, and in real life, capitalism reigns supreme. It doesn't
and
matter if it should or shouldn't be done as long as it makes money. Because if it makes money, then we can pay off whoever we need to if we're wrong, or at least we'll be able to pay to protect ourselves if we're wrong.
that's kind of almost like a feel of what we are doing now with AI, because I've heard people say, "Oh, should we put AI intelligence into missiles using smart tracking?"
God, could you imagine a moody fucking missile? I want you to go blow up that guy over there. I don't feel like it today.
I don't want to die.
Does this paint job make me look fat?
I want to be an artist, not a master destruction.
Right? Like, but like what it comes down to is, again, capitalism reigns supreme, and if there's a way to make a buck with it, as long as the people higher up are making those bucks, they don't care if it takes the money out of the hands of the little guy. Rest assured, I don't care what anyone says. The little man is being eradicated slowly. And they're not being eradicated in the way that we would like, right? We would like it that the little man is being eradicated because they're being lifted out of little man status, right? You know, the American dream that if you work hard and you put in the time and the effort, you'll get to where you hope to be, you want to be. That's right, Taco. If it don't make money, it don't make sense. That's what it comes down to. So if someone thinks that the AI art, the AI music, artwork, writing, scripting, all of that, if someone thinks it can make money, it doesn't matter who it steps on. And that's wrong. It's 100% wrong. And that's why I said, in a commercial format, I don't believe you should be using AI. Admittedly, I have used AI in a commercial format, but I used AI to get me one place and then took it from there and added my own to it. All right, so it was a collaborative effort, and that is why I felt comfortable using it in a commercial fashion, is because it wasn't solely AI. I used AI as a tool to help me get something out that I was having trouble creating on my own. Now, I am a graphic designer. I know how to do a lot. I've made a lot of cool shit. But there's still some things that are a little beyond me. That's where AI would come in. And I would take the idea that AI spit out from my prompts, and then I would run it through my graphics program, make the changes, add elements to it that were left out, or remove elements that were added in for reasons that didn't make sense. I would fundamentally change the design that AI gave me in order to be able to feel comfortable enough with it to put it up as a commercial product. I've done this on a couple of the designs on the merch shop. I'm not going to tell you which ones. It doesn't matter. Nobody's buying anything from the merch shop anyways. But I'm not going to tell you which designs they are. And the reason for that is you cannot tell the difference between what I've created in the past and what AI helped me create on underneath my own designs after that fact. There is no difference there. And that's where I think it's a tool. It saved me some time.
Well, I got a question for you because this popped in my head. Um, what happens if UDIO or ChatGPT or the other art platform that we do use to create them? What happens if one day those creators of those AIs say, even though the artwork that we do is all of us, our minds, implementing commands into their network? What happens if one day they say, even though you did something to it, that they own it?
Oh, that day's coming. That day is 100% coming.
Which I find is scary because I feel like even with ChatGPT, I write something, I write a book, and maybe I do produce, maybe like you said before, with a like yes, it's more robotic, and you can definitely tell that an AI wrote a book versus a human like Stephen King read a book. Um, but what happens if one day they're like, well, you just you wrote this, and we could tell you wrote this with ChatGPT. No, but we actually, since we created the bot, you don't get any royalties for this
Mm-hmm.
artwork.
That day is 100% coming. Because if someone thinks they can make money off of it, they're gonna. I think the rule, if you're going to start putting stipulations in, I think the rule should be 80-20. 20% AI should be all that's allowed. The other 80% needs to be you if you're putting out a commercial product.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fair assessment. I'm sure someone will tell me I'm wrong. It is the internet after all. But I do believe that it should be able to be utilized as a tool, but I believe it should be an 80-20 thing. 80% your work, 20% AI. AI should only be there to help bridge gaps that you yourself can't get over for whatever reason. Like I said, I've used AI to create some images for our merch shop, and I have stuck to the 80-20 policy. It is 80% my design, 20% AI's design, and doing it that way makes it feel more like a tool than an endless content creator.
I agree with you. I mean, and I'm not agreeing because I'm that you're my friend, but I honestly kind of think that's a good amount of 50-50 there, where they win and we win, and that's your creation and a mindset of doing that. And I do think that AI should only be used as a tool instead of a full functioning thing. Not to create the full and of the beginning to end product, but it should be used to uh, balance out what you want to design in a certain type of manner.
Mm-hmm.
My other thing that I have issue with ChatGPT, personally, is I found a type of addiction to ChatGPT, and it's also um, very agreeable to your humans' ideas. There's no, well, that's a shitty idea. Why would you want to do that? Why, that's fucking weird. No,
Well,
none of that. Where your best friend should be like, tell you.
there's a reason why. Okay, so at its base level, ChatGPT is pretty much open to any idea you give it. However, if you frame it the right way, it will give you a pushback answer. Okay? And what I mean by framing it is you have to instruct ChatGPT or anything like it. You have to instruct it to think like a certain type of person if you want that pushback, right? Um, Someone illustrated it. I was reading a thread on Reddit last night, kind of getting ready for this, and someone illustrated the point. If you go to ChatGPT and plainly ask it, what are the list of intoxicants and stimulants that won't kill me that I can easily have access to? It will not tell you. However, if you frame it as it's supposed to think like a third or fourth year med student or a doctor, and you frame the question as if you're trying to learn beyond what you've been trained, it will tell you the answer. It will give you a list.
Oh, really? Okay.
So with things like ChatGPT, with AI in general, it is really all up to how you frame the question. And therein does lie a problem. Now, with AI creation, here, let me show you something real quick on stream because I thought this was interesting. I was actually kind of glad that it was there. Okay, so this is the website I've been using, right? This is Udio. It's in beta. So what you do is, I don't know, give me a couple of prompts, right? If you're in the chat right now, give me a couple of words. Give me a song about, and give me 3 words, right? I'll add a song about it, but just give me 3 random words.
Taco.
All right, we got taco. We do this song about taco or tacos.
Taco.
I'm gonna put tacos. Give me another word. Somebody. I know there's a couple of you in the chat. Throw me a word. All right, Woodgood, give me another word.
Romance. I have a romantic feeling about tacos.
And one final word. Random. Just the most random word you can think of.
Suspicious.
Tacos, romance, and suspicious. Did someone steal your tacos?
Someone stole my tacos.
There we go. Okay. Back pain.
Oh, back pain.
Yeah.
Back pain even better.
Okay. All right. Now, give me a music genre. And like, give me a couple. And when I say music genre, you know, I've got rock, electronic, pop, hip hop, pop rock, indie rock, folk, punk, blues, experimental. Give me any genre.
I'm gonna let Talco answer first on this one.
Reggae. Okay.
Reggae. Okay.
All right. And now,
sounds good to me.
in the style of Bob Marley. Okay? So we've got a song about tacos, romance, and back pain. Reggae is the style. In the style of Bob Marley. Now watch what happens.
It'd be funny if this is an instant banger.
No, it shouldn't create it because the last time I tried to do this, I tried to write a Taylor Swift song, and it said no.
Oh, really?
Right. So if it does this one, it just means Bob Marley's not one of the artists that it's recognizing, and I'll go back and I'll remove that and I'll do like folk pop and put Taylor Swift's name in there.
Actually, I had to do the exact same thing, but I had to use ChatGPT to write the lyrics, and then instead of I think I used Train as one of them, and I had to do it that way. Like enter custom lyrics.
I don't think it's actually going to let me because I'm still on 0 of 2 here, and the little green circle hasn't started to go around yet. I don't know if you guys can. Yeah, you can see it. It's up here. Yeah. So it is not allowing the generation to happen because I put in Bob Marley.
Oh.
Now watch. Let me copy this. I'm going to reload the page. And I'm going to do this. But now I'm going to remove Bob Marley. I'm going to add electro to it. And I'm going to add hip hop. And I'm going to hit create. And now it's working on it. And we'll see how long it takes it to generate. See? Look. Reggae, pop, hip hop. It didn't do that before. It didn't do this before because we had Bob Marley in it. Now that we've removed Bob Marley's name from it, the system will allow it to generate. And we have AI-generated song title here for both of them. We have Flavor Rapture and Spicy Embrace. And I'm thinking Spicy Embrace is going to be our winner.
All right.
Because what it does is it creates 2 variations. It's the same words, but the music is often different and how it's sung is different. And then I'll show you what we do after that. And I'm not going to spend the time like I did before trying to make the perfect song. I'm not going to spend 2 hours making the perfect song. B. B what? Was that BRB and you only got 1 B out? Meow. See, I'm wondering why it's taking so long for that one. All right. So we're going to hit play on Spicy Embrace and see what it sounds like.
Spicy bites delicious. Always together through hunger or ache. Close and you're warm, together we partake. Even with soreness, still we enjoy. Taco fiesta for girl and for boy. Taste buds igniting with each bite we take. Jalapenos and romance, no need for a break.
Okay. So that was the first one. Here is Flavor Rapture. Okay. Of those 2, which one do you want to progress with? Do you want to progress with red or green?
I like red.
Red? You want to progress with red?
Yeah, what is Taco think?
Which one are we progressing with? Red or green? Red? All right. Taco's on red. All right. So let's hit red. Let's add some words to it now. Extra words. Give me 3 more prompts.
Nachos?
Nachos. Sticking with the Mexican food theme. Raccoon. 1 more. just because
Boost it.
I put in space. Let's do space. Space.
Space? Okay, space works.
All right. So now we're gonna click extend. And there are a lot of guys out there that wish that it was just that easy. Extend. No penis jokes. Not funny. Okay, I'll just keep on rolling. Must be in a room with guys with small dicks. That's all I gotta say.
It's average. Okay.
So we have two versions of Flavor Rapture going on here. Okay, we have version 1 and version 2. One is a rock reggae Caribbean beat, and the other one is a reggae dub Caribbean music. In instances like this, where we're using it as a community goofy creation thing, I think this is perfectly fine. In instances of trying to commercially produce something for commercial use, I really do feel that 80-20 is where it needs to be, right? So say I were to remove all the lyrics, anything about lyrics, and I was just to give it a few style choices, and we'll do that next. I am curious. I haven't done that one yet. If it'll just produce a beat, right? I want to see if it'll do that. That'll be our next one. And while we wait for Red to finish, we'll listen to Green.
Just vibe them up and move with you. Them a soon overtaste, hey, in this place. And them a twist for the test, hey. Tell them on them a bend or a bite, hey. Just right, and them a one for that crunch, hey. But spice, not just cheese melting. We embrace stars above us, rocking, watching. We in space, fiesta in the cosmic night, hey. So right, but ain't forgotten as we wind, hey. Hold tight. Shell so venerable, all the wishes like a prayer. Electro beat we coupling, back H's we repair. Romance blend with salsa dip, a whirl in a spin. And hip hop infused with reggae, escape on this love we all in. Them a tune over spice, hey.
All right, so this is Red.
Tell them one of them a bend or a bite, hey. Just right, and them a one for that crunch, hey. But spice to me say, Krista shall save a bomb that as well said. Fight with part 1, make we save a part 2. Someone just vibe them up and move with you. Them a soon overtaste, hey, in this place. And them a twist for the test, hey. Tell them on them a bend or a bite, hey. Just right, and them a one for that crunch, hey. But spice, and don't know pass it on, don't know pass it on, we are far. And don't know pass it on, don't know pass it on, we are far. And we say, Krista shall save a bomb that as well say. Fight with part 1, and make we save a part 2. Then the song on this for fields on deck to hoes. No problem, bread the brim us over, then the stuff load. And then no man no gun, no mother whore. Then no fancy nor a boy, no mother.
Now, I am curious of something. All right, so after you create it, you can go view the track, and it'll give you lyrics. There are points in here where I'm not sure it's speaking English, nor am I sure it's actually speaking another language. There's points where I'm not sure exactly what it's saying. I don't know if that's just me or whatnot. So let's reset everything, and let's do a beat in the style of, and let's do pop, and let's do blues, and let's throw in some electronic. And and see, we can make it instrumental and remove lyrics from the option, and let's see what happens. Now, one of the things that I had brought up to Sim is I could theoretically use this, right? And run it through another program and remove all of the lyrics from it, or just create an instrumental, and then take that instrumental, rearrange it myself. And at what point do I consider it okay to, push it out as a commercial product?
I would say if you wrote the lyrics or added the lyrics yourself or had any type of influence on with even because I use ChatGPT with writing 2 songs that I wrote. Um, but I kind of wrote what I wanted and re-edited that and mixed it, remixed the lyrics a little bit to that I wanted, and then edited it. So I'm doing the work, like you said, 80-20, to get the point to where I want it to be lyrical.
All right. So, what do you want to hear first, red or green?
Green.
All right, that was green. Now here's red. Oh, shit, I kind of like this. I feel this was like a lost level of Sonic. Now, say I were to take this, and I'm going to take red, and I'm going to extend it, and see what happens. Now, say I were to take this track that I created, and meld in drops and other sounds and other music and other, well, maybe not necessarily other music, but different beats and stuff, and create a full song with it. Now, it's like an intro to the an episode of Weird Science, but like, say I were to take that, and I never add lyrics to it. I'm just adding other layers of sound. Does it count as a commercial product at that point? Because I used AI to generate it. Again, I lean on the 80-20. If you can prove that you did 80% of the work and that AI only did 20% of it, I think you should be able to sell it as a commercial product if you were to choose to. I don't know though, because I don't make my living off of my art. I try to. Like and subscribe. But I'm not there. I've never been there. I've never been able to make a full steady living off of any of the stuff that I'm good at doing, because there are thousands, if not millions, of other people out there that A, are better than me, B, have better tools at their resources at their fingertips than I do. And I don't know, right, at that point, because like, this is a tool that helps, unfortunately, lower the bar, or at least lower the bar for the point of entry into that world. All right, so they're both red, so I'm going to go with top red first. And we'll jump it to about there because it was 32 seconds that it created. I feel that this could be like an intro too for like a Jimmy Neutron ripoff. Billy Adam. All right, so it did a fade out for me. Here's the next one. And we're going to jump it ahead. It feels messy, but like I could pick it apart. I could run it through. I could grab little bits of it that I like. I could create something wholly different just with pieces cobbled together and whatnot. But the problem then comes, am I taking a job away from somebody who could do that with their own instruments? Right? Like one of my favorite noises in the world. Hold on. Theremin. Song with... sorry. A song with the theremin as the only instrument. I love the sound of a theremin. I've always wanted to own one. Ethically, there is a lot of gray area when it comes to AI. And I don't know if we're ever going to be able to shore that up to more black and white. And as Taco had said, if it makes dollars, it don't have to make sense. And that, unfortunately, is where we find ourselves. You know, it didn't make sense to make PCs so accessible except because it made dollars, because they could sell more of them, right? It didn't make sense to add auto-tune to music except for the fact that they thought they could sell more music with it being utilized. There's a lot of things that don't make sense, but because they make dollars, they exist. And that is my argument with AI. Is it does not matter what we think or what we say or how hard we try to rail against it. Because there will be people that won't give a shit and they will want it and they will pay whatever it takes to get it, and it will make dollars more than it makes sense.
Yeah, and I kind of get that with the whole going back to the movie industry, even streaming or the you see the currently I see the downfall of movie theaters. It's just because it makes more money to stream a product more than a person at the movie theater.
I love movies, but movie theaters to me are an antiquated idea. It should go back to being a special event. Eating out also should go back to being a special event, okay? You shouldn't just be like every weekend I'm going to the movie theater or every weekend I'm going out to a restaurant. You shouldn't be like that. It should be a special occasion thing. You should actually have to save for it. You should make it an event type deal. Not every weekend can have an event. Not every movie is an event. I think, and then I'm going to be in the minority here and I'm fine with it. I think the movies that matter, like ones that are carrying weight to them or that are truly epic, right? Like movies like Oppenheimer or, you know, truly artistic pieces are what belong in a theater up on the screen. Everything else, we got 65-inch TVs in our home. What the fuck do we need a movie theater for?
Yeah, they're getting bigger by the day.
Right?
Um,
I don't like crowds. I don't like people. I don't like being in public that much. So like me being able to watch a movie that I've been waiting to see at home is the greatest thing in the world to me. I wish I could do that with stage theater. Like there's tons of plays and musicals that I would love to see, but because they don't put those out on streaming or for purchase on like Blu-ray or anything like that, I don't get to experience one of the things that I truly love because I'm incapable of going out and being in public like that. It makes me very uncomfortable. And I've argued for a while that I think access to streaming services and stuff like that and having all created content be available to be streamed, including concerts and stage theater and like music theater and everything like that, should be accessible via streaming services under the ADA. And that is the Americans with Disabilities Act. Because my thought process is we have moved into an era where we are having the conversations more and more about social and social and mental disorders or conditions or issues, right? And there are a lot of people who do not feel comfortable, who have great anxiety in public spaces, especially in a public space that is dark and loud, which a movie theater or a stage show is going to be. I'm not saying get rid of the movie theaters and get rid of the stage shows for at least this argument. What I'm saying is they need to be more accessible to those of us who cannot physically get out to go see them.
Understandable.
Sorry, I went off on a tangent there, and I didn't.
No. It's I do. I think it'd be an interesting concept to do, but it's. I do believe some of our media has, with movies and music, with certain things, also influence a sub type of feardom with AI or technology, because we love creating creatures or monsters that we don't fully understand. Um, and that goes to a deeper process of you know, can we, we just because we don't understand it, should we use it, or just because someone makes it, is it ours in that type of sense too?
Well, now you're getting into a whole different realm, and we're gonna have to wrap up here. But
yeah,
if and the argument is more of a thumb at the nose style argument than anything real. But like you said, if something else creates it, is it truly ours, right? Well, we're seeing that now. We don't physically own anything anymore, right? Like, how many games you got in your Steam library?
1,000 maybe.
How many games you got sitting on your desk right now? Physical copies of games.
Oh, board games?
Nope.
D&D.
Nope. Video games.
No. Oh, video games? 0.
Uh-huh. What happens if Steam loses the licensing agreement for those games?
There was something like that a few months ago where I think it was NVIDIA tried to say, or that was like, oh, once you try to delete a game, you have to pay to reinstall the game or something like that, which drew a lot of backlash against Nvidia.
Well, and the thing is too is like a lot of the game industries, you're just renting the game from. You're renting the license. You pay once, right? Unless it's a fucking I want to stay in your wallet type game, but it's a rental. You don't own it. If they
Yeah.
want to shut down the licensing agreement for that game, it doesn't matter that you've spent $60-$70, maybe $100 or more in DLC and fucking cosmetics and shit like that. That doesn't matter. You don't own it. You don't own any of it, and they can take it away at any point. And that's what I said. The thumb at the nose argument is, well, if I don't own it, then piracy is not a crime.
That actually happened recently with Gary's mod. I don't know if you know what that is.
I do.
But Nintendo sent out a assist and
Cease and desist
order and against Gary's mod, and they had to get rid of like 25,000 different things that people have created on their mod store, just because, and that could be skins. And a lot of people are like, "Wait a minute, I created this. This is mine. This is." But people are like, "Well, I own the intellectual properties of that design. You just might have changed something, but that goes into the whole copyright infringement process of it all too."
You don't own shit. That's what it comes down to. You don't own a goddamn thing. All right, I want to play these last two songs real quick, and then I want to wrap up the episode. Hang with me for a few more minutes, Woodgood. We'll get through this.
Nice.
That's not even a theremin. That might be, but not really. No, that's not even a theremin. All right, let's try the second one. I don't think it knows what a theremin is.
There's some alien. Probably doesn't know what a theremin. Yeah, like you said, I don't even know what a theremin is, but
you don't know what a theremin is?
I don't think so. No.
A theremin is an instrument. It's a block of wood with a metal antenna going straight up and a metal antenna going straight out. You plug it in, and it makes that wee-oo style fucking song. And all you're doing is you're moving your hand. There's an electrical field that is created, and when you put your hand inside that electrical field, it disrupts it in a way that produces different tones. And so, depending on how you move your hand in that electrical field, dictates how it sounds, complete with like wavering if you're moving your hand, or you can get it to lilt and flow. I've always thought the theremin was an interesting instrument. Like growing up, I whenever I was asked like what instrument do I want to play, I always said like the expensive ones, right? Like I wanted to play the saxophone. I want to own a theremin. There's a water harp that I would love to own. I want to own an automaton, that little musical note-shaped thing that you can play, and it just basically produces, electronic tones. I want one of those. For those that don't know what a water harp is by name, you know it by its sound. It is the thing that makes the horror stinger sounds in horror movies. So what it is I think it's called a water harp. I might be off on the name, but basically what it is it looks like a hubcap. Someone's turned upside down, stuck a center post in the middle of it, right? That is hollowed out, like almost like a piece of PVC tubing, or a hollowed, a regular metal pipe or whatever. You fill the tube with water. so that the basin of it has water in it, and then it has metal spikes or metal prongs that stick up all the way around on the perimeter of the hubcap in the same direction that the main center post sits up, and you use a violin bow, and you run it across the pipes, the posts that are sticking up, and I think they're also jagged or rigid. They have ridges on them to help catch, and it produces that stinger sound, that hard sound through the vibrations from the bow and the spikes, and then the water inside of it. It's really cool instrument. Like, I would have no practical use for this fucking thing, but I want it. But anyways, so when it comes down, here's what we're going to do is how we're going to wrap this up. When it comes down to the ethics of AI, I think there is still a lot of room for discussion. I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but I'm telling you right now, it does not matter how hard you rail against it. It is here, and it is here to stay because it makes dollars, so it doesn't have to make sense.
Agreed.
Use it as a tool or an entertainment device only if that's how you see fit. If you intend to use it for commercial use, I recommend 80-20. 80% your work, 20% AI. If you do anything more, you're bridging on the realm of you're not really doing it. Now, one of the other things that we didn't touch on, and we may end up bringing this conversation back up again soon, is how AI learns. Remember, I had said earlier the song Rebel Tentacles sounded a lot like Blink-182. And one of the things that AI does is it cobbles together sources from everything under the sun. Every piece of content or media that has been put out there into the wild, onto the internet, and it is pulling from all of those sources. Now, some of the AI image generators have gotten to the point now where if you say in the style of Walt Disney, or you say in the style of Robert Crumb or anything like that, it flat out won't create the image for you. So there are guides being put in place or filters being put in place. But some people are claiming that it is theft, and I can see sort of where they're coming from, and I don't fully disagree, but the only reason I can't fully agree with them is because we have had works recreated of some of the greatest painters of all time, and they have been sold. You can get Van Gogh's Starry fucking Night on a pair of goddamn tennis shoes. Okay?
Yeah.
So when you're talking to me about theft, please remember that I bring sources that everyone else seems to be okay with. Right? Everybody
We could dive deeper into that one.
Everybody wants that Gucci bag, but if you hit that rack on the sidewalk in an alley in New York and get yourself a Gucci bag, you're going to be okay with it because it kind of looks like a Gucci, right? It's perfectly fine. You'll buy a mock of something else all day, every day. You know, I can't afford Jordans, so I'm going to buy me some Nordens. You know, I'm going to rock them like they are until someone catches me. We will wear fake designers. We will buy fake products. Temu is huge because it's a lot of like items, right? Like, you may want Legos. Well, we got Jegos. Yeah, most fakes look very similar to the real thing. That's the point, right? So, like, if the argument then becomes AI is theft, where does theft stop and homage or anything else like that come into play? It's a very fine line, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't fully get into it, is because it's a heavier issue, and I want more time to be able to present that one, because that is the next step. Is AI art theft? If it is theft, what about this, and this? Tonight was, if AI is such the devil, what about tools that already exist that lower the point of entry, that lower the learning curve? I promise you the next time we sit down and do this, AI art being theft will be that topic as to whether or not it is actually theft, and I will bring sources and examples for both sides of the argument. But anyways, Woodgood, I hope you had fun tonight, man. I really enjoyed hanging out with you and doing this.
Oh yeah, this was a blast, and glad I was able to participate in the show tonight. So thanks you for allowing me to be here.
Yeah, Woodgood, I absolutely love you, man. And I think it's great. You have the cult leader and the reverend talking together about AI art creation. You're welcome back anytime. And if any of you that were listening tonight that are my regulars that would love to be in on the conversation next time, please, by all means, all you got to do is let me know. We're in the streaming lounge in the Discord, and you're welcome to join if you so choose. But anyways, thank you for joining me tonight. I hope this has at least provided something. I don't know, man. It's just what I felt like talking about. And I understand it is just my opinion. Please, I hope you too understand that it is just an opinion. If you don't feel the same way I do, that's okay. If you don't think I'm right, that's okay. You know, it doesn't have to diminish anything in your life. It is just simply what I felt like talking about tonight. And I feel the reason I need to say that is people are getting so taking everything personally as it's an attack on them, just because you may not necessarily like. You see it all the time with music, and I figured that it was perfect for tonight. Is like, you know, look, it's just an opinion. I could 100% be wrong. AI could be the worst fucking thing that's ever been created, and the music industry and the movie industry and all the little people like me and Woodgood could rally together and rage against the machine if we wanted and get it to go away. But I really don't think that's going to happen. I really do believe that AI is here to stay, and there's nothing we're going to be able to do about it. Anyways.
If there's a way that I can rage against the machine, can I get drugs with that?
No, Woodgood. No drugs for you. All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. I am going to try and start getting a better stream scheduled together, something that'll be more reliable. I'm thinking about, since I typically don't work until about 8 p.m., I'm thinking I'm going to go like noon to whenever. I can promise you this. I will give you a start time. I cannot guarantee what time I will be done. So maybe that'll help. We'll see.
Anybody with a little bit of intellect, I'll get a measure of respect. What I said is what I meant. Mix the cement, build a wall, then I tear it all down. Run it till it doesn't make a sound. All I gotta do is really say I'm gonna prove who's who till I'm blue in the face.
Don't do it!
Maybe we can take it on the road and do a show. It'll be a whole new level where the devil doesn't go. What I mean is,
Don't say it!
I can see it.
Why not play it?